Alright guys, so now we're going to work on the head. So of course, you know, we don't need all of this sticking up on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim down this lollipop stick, the lolly stick. And you do want a good amount coming up out of the top because we pretty much want all of Elmo's head to have the lolly stick going through it. So I would say about an inch, okay, because that's what helps hold the head in place. That looks good. That looks about right. Okay, so that is about 1 inch sticking out of the top of the torso. Okay, now Elmo's head shape is a very specific shape. It's not round. It's kind of like a football shape. So, let's see. I am pretty positive I'm going to need more than this. And again, just from doing it so many times, guys, you'll eventually know how much you need. The sides of his mouth or the sides of his face are supposed to be coming up over his shoulders. That feels about right, actually. Yep. It's a miracle the first time. That rarely happens. Okay, so let's get the cracks and wrinkles out of our gum paste. So you want to shape it into a ball first, and then we'll give Elmo his football shaped head. Alright, so there's my ball. Now Elmo has a football shape, like I said, so what I do is I'm just going to give him a little point at one end, not a big one, okay? See how it's kind of egg-shaped at the top? And same thing at the bottom. So you're making both sides of his head pointy. Okay? That's pretty much the shape of Elmo's head right there. Like a fat football. Okay? Now you're going to need your blade to cut into the head to give him his mouth. Okay? So this is when I start to lose the shape, but after you cut it, you can reshape it the way I just did. So I take my blade, make sure it's nice and clean. You don't have any dry pieces of gum paste on there because you want it to go down clean. To avoid your blade pulling down on your gum paste, I take a little bit of shortening and rub it on the end of your blade. Be very careful that you do not cut yourself. Okay? So my head's already getting flat in the back from laying it on my table. It's got a little chunky thing in there. The blade, you are going to put it right, not in the middle of, if you've already chosen the front, so this is going to be the front of Elmo's face. You're not going to put it right in the middle. You're going to put it below, just a little below the middle. So right about there is going to be his mouth. Okay? And so basically all I'm going to do is slice a good ways in, maybe about halfway. Okay? Open it up. Without, you gotta be very gentle. Especially with the red, okay? You can take a tool, whatever you have available, and kind of open his mouth up a little bit. This again, I got in the clay aisle. I love it. It's got the small ball, and it's got a sharp rubber end. So there's Elmo's mouth. as you can see from the side, it went in even more than halfway. Just as long as you don't totally cut off the top of his head, you're good. Okay? So there's his mouth. And then later on, you can either put black gum paste inside to give him his black mouth on the inside, or you can do what I do and just use your black edible marker and paint or color the inside of his mouth. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. Okay, so this is the top of his face, this is the bottom of his face, and you can, you know, rework your gum paste because it's still very, very malleable, very soft, and you can shape it however you want. I usually do the shaping of the mouth after I've already glued it on. So as you can see, he still has this football shape. If the back of your head has lost its shape, you can just re-roll it, even though you've already cut the mouth. No big deal. Okay. Nice and round again. And reopen my mouth. Okay, now I'm going to glue the head on. And I want to make sure that my lolly stick is not going to come out the top of my head. If I think it is, then I better cut some more off of here. So scratch what I said earlier about an entire inch coming out. I need mine to be a little bit smaller, okay? If you're making a bigger Elmo, then of course you're going to want more of the stick coming out. So where I'm going to add glue is going to be on the top of my head. Sorry, on the top of the neck. Okay? So we're going to put some glue here on the top of the torso. A little bit on the shoulders because I know that's going to be touching the bottom of the head. Okay, and if you want, a little bit on the lolly stick because the lolly stick is made out of paper, and so that will glue to the gum paste. You want to make sure that the top of the head here is completely pointing upward, or else you're going to stick him in with his head tilting back. So you want the mouth kind of facing down a little bit. So I want to make sure it's right smack in the middle, facing me. Is that in the middle? And then you just gently push down. And yes, right now he looks very strange, but this is what will end up being Elmo. Now I'm just reshaping the mouth, okay, which I will have to do again after I give him fur on his head. Okay, but before we do the fur technique on Elmo's head, we are going to give him dents for the eyeballs that will go on later, okay? So his eyeballs are actually right next to each other and they are touching, so hold your mouth in place so that you don't mess it up. And 2 dents right on the top. 1, 2. I'm going to give him big eyeballs. Okay, so now that we have the 2 dents for the eyeballs right next to each other, hope you guys can see that, okay? And as you can see, his head is on completely all the way around. Now we're going to give him the fur on his head, okay? So if you want, you can, start shaping the mouth whenever you want. I like to have that little dip in his bottom lip and then a straight lip on the top. Okay, so again, gently, you might want to hold the head so that you're not squashing it down. and you're gonna give them a fur technique all the way around, all the way to the lip. Don't go over the eye sockets that you just made, okay? Just everywhere else. Alright, so now we're going to add his eyeballs, so I'm going to go wash my hands because I've got red gum paste all over my hands. I'll be back. Okay, so we're close to being done, guys, for Elmo's facial features, which are the very last thing we do. You're going to need some white gum paste for the eyeballs. You're going to need some black gum paste for the pupils, and you're going to need some orangey colored, yellowish orangey colored gum paste for his nose, okay? So making sure you clean your hands so that you don't dirty your white gum paste red. We're only gonna take a tiny little bit of gum paste, okay? So I'm gonna just grab a piece and just test it out and see how that size will look. And you can just place it on top just to see. And I'm seeing if I like that. Not too sure. But believe it or not, it's a miracle. The very first time around, it's the exact size I want. So now that I know I have the size, I'm going to make sure my other one is the same size as the first. So what you do here is now you are going to get a little bit of your edible glue, and you're going to put a little bit of glue before you touch it, okay? A little bit of glue on the side of one ball. That way you make sure it's going to be touching the other eyeball. A little bit of glue on the top of the eye socket. And a little bit of glue on the top of this eye socket. Not a lot. You don't want to drench it. Place one eyeball. Place the other eyeball. And make sure they are touching in the middle. Okay, then we are going to next add the nose before you add the pupils, okay? And again, just going by feel. Let's see, we grabbed the right amount the first time. Elmo's nose is kind of like a, looks like an eclair. You tell I'm hungry. Teardrop shape. The top. Let's just see how that looks. Let's test it out. Not quite that long, so I'm going to squash it down a little bit. Yep, that looks right. Okay. So the part that's going to be up against his face, you want to flatten that a little bit and make sure you get as much surface area as possible to be glued onto his face. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so now I'm going to take my edible glue and just put a little bit of glue on the part that's going to be touching his face. And you want to put the point here right between his eyes. Hold the head so that you're not messing up the shape. And this is why I love this rubber tool, because you can actually get in places where your fingers don't fit and press down. Now let's do the pupils. I like making big black pupils so he looks really cute and really excited and happy. So we're gonna get some black gum paste. You don't need much at all. That's even probably way too much. That's even way too much, but that's how much I'm gonna get for now. Okay, a little bit of shortening black tends to dry out really quickly because it has tons of coloring in it. I like using the pre-colored. If your gum paste gets really dry and crumbly, guys, little secret for you guys, if your gum paste is drying out, it's because it's losing moisture. And what's moisture? Water. So the way you get the moisture and the stickiness back into your gum paste is by adding just a little bit of water. So I always have a little spray bottle in case I need to just spray it a little bit. Okay, we're gonna just get 2 tiny little balls. Make sure that they are the same exact size, because when you squash them down, you want them to spread out the same way and be the same size. So let's see here. I like that one. This one's too big. Now it's too small. Add a little bit more. Still a little bit too small. And yeah, as you can see, guys, I'm very anal. I mean, I want it to be exact. If you're happy with one pupil bigger than the other, then more power to you. But I like my figures to be as close to perfect as possible. They're never perfect, of course, but at least they hopefully look pretty good. Alright, so there are my 2 little tiny pupils. I mean, it's like the size of a roly-poly, okay? I used to love roly-polies when I was little, so I know the size. Alright, so you can take any tool to flatten it. I like to just actually take the lid of my edible glue. Believe it or not, this is what I use even the lid for so many things. So I just squash it down. To a nice size. The other one too. And this one got a crack in it, so I'm gonna rework that. My husband's here. I just heard the car door, so I hope he doesn't walk in while I'm doing this. Alright, so let me put them side by side just to see if they are the exact same size. Okay, so I use my little favorite rubber tool here. You can use whatever you want, your fingers if you want. And I lift up my pupil and I'm going to glue it. Not right in the middle. I want it kind of close to the nose, but not to the point where he looks like he's, you know, crossing his eyes. Kind of low and close to the nose, right about there. That looks cute. And same with the other one. If you lost the shape, you can always just, you know, reshape it a little bit. That looks pretty cute. Make sure the pupils are completely laying flat on the eyeball. If there's any parts sticking out, just press them down. And I think what I'm going to do, because I feel a little bit lazy, I mean, if you guys want, you can roll out some black gum paste and then you can glue it in here. But what I like to do is just take my edible marker. These are Gourmet Writers by AmeriColor. It's called Food Decorating Pen. You can buy these at any cake supply. I like to use globalsugarart.com, and usually I wait till the head is completely dry, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. And you just want to be careful and do a straight line. You know, you don't want a jagged edge mouth, so we'll see how it turns out the first time. The black of Elmo's mouth does come almost to the edge. Okay, and then just, you're not pressing down hard, you're just barely letting the tip, the felt tip, touch the gum paste. Make sure you get all in there, okay? And if you want to, you can of course color the top as well. I would recommend doing so because that gives it a cuter look. Alright guys, so I know this was a very long video, but you know, I've been, like I said, several people have asked. They wanted to see step by step, so there it is. There is Elmo. And the fur technique can be used on any animal or any stuffed animal looking topper. So I hope you guys like it. Let me know if you have any questions. Alright guys, thanks for all my subscribers. Appreciate you guys, and God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.